Main focus of this video is when I pick up my reins, especially roping like this, with the left hand, I want it to mean something. And there's a difference between picking up to engage the bridle reins and picking up and go forward so I can dally, take a wrap around my saddle horn. Look how nice he backed up and then went forward. That's what I also want. So that was real good right there. Hi, this is Brian Whitaker at Wits End Ranch. Got a video where I'm breakaway roping on copper again, but this is more about the horsemanship side of it. Starting off, just doing a little bit of groundwork. I don't always show my videos doing the groundwork, but I always do some form of groundwork before I get on, and it could be as quick as 30 seconds, a minute, depending on the horse, depending on the situation. Just checking my horse out, warming them up, getting their body warmed up, but also getting their mind ready. There's some nice softness, a nice arc in his neck, good coming around, getting some weight on the hindquarters, stepping through. I was throwing my lead rope up over his saddle just to make sure he's good with that, because if he's not perfect with that, then roping today might be a little bit of a challenge. I don't anticipate anything bad, but we're just checking everything out. Doing some lateral flexion left and right here, some softness, getting the neck to bend, getting there as I'm doing that. He's releasing his jaw, he's licking, he's relaxing. See, he thought I was going to reach down with my left rein there. There he thought he was going to go with my right, so he's kind of almost beating me to it, which is great. So I'm just letting him be right now, just letting him soak all that up. See, he started coming towards that rein before I really picked up. Now, he's more advanced, so I can hold that rein longer, so he can give me softness, and I'll hold it for a count. It depends on where I'm at. Like there, he started meeting me. Now here, I'm going to have him just hold that, have some slack in the rein a bit longer. And you can see now he's a little distracted. You can see that left eye looking a little bit. I'm like, all right, that's fine. Now give it to me again, though. Don't worry about that. Just give me softness. See that left eye coming back to me just a little bit. Hold it, then I release it. Main focus of this video is when I pick up my reins, especially roping like this, with the left hand, I want it to mean something. And there's a difference between picking up to engage the bridle reins and picking up and go forward so I can dally, take a wrap around my saddle horn. Look how nice he backed up and then went forward. That's what I also want. So that was real good right there. He went forward, he stopped. I like my horses keeping them real responsive to me, real free. And then I want them nice and quiet and relaxed after a maneuver, whatever it might be. See there, I'm picked up, but I'm just engaging the bridle reins. How you pick up, how much pressure, was it slack when you picked up? Did you take the slack out first? That all has a bearing on how a horse will respond. And I'm constantly working on that. Right there, I'm just picking up till I get engaged and then picking up till I get a back. There was a little brace in the back. We wait till he softens. Backing in unison in a diagonal. There's a little lick, a little softness, relaxation. And then I just go ahead and rope. I was picking up that slack. Look how nice he's tracking this around there. I just engaged the reins. It said, let's ride off. I'm showing my student there. She was real worried about the rope coming behind her horse. And if you've done all your homework before this, before you're actually roping, a horse shouldn't be bothered by that rope coming back behind him. I'm showing here kind of what can happen, and maybe what she was doing a little bit, where I'll tell her, I said, okay, after you rope, ride your horse. And I'm like, this is not riding your horse, where you're just hanging on the rope. You're letting it slide through. People sometimes literally will hang on the rope so much and not ride their horse that they fall off their horse. They'll let the animal pull them right out of the saddle. Seems like it couldn't happen, but it happens so fast. So I'm saying, instead of just hanging on there, ride your horse. Just ride your horse up there. And then always make sure after you throw, coil up, get your rope out of the way. There's a throw, and I'm just wanting to keep my horse free, moving forward. But then when I do want him to stop, stop. and back up a little bit, and then that breakaway rope just pops right off. Just keep it simple. Work on the one thing at a time and just ride your horse after you rope. So what I mean by this, I'll pull my slack and I'll just keep riding, see? So let's say I was having trouble with my dally. Instead of panicking or gripping the rope or trying to dally, just ride your horse forward. I have that luxury now because of the situation, because these calves are just about broke to lead. And then when things are going good, I'll stop my horse, I'll dally, stop, back up. But just keep everything out in front of you. Don't get into panic. And make sure you're not picking up on your horse inadvertently with your left hand if you're a right-handed roper. I'm just showing there too, is sometimes people have a hard time moving cattle out. If you have a rope, just simply swing it, and they'll generally create enough energy to move cattle. Now this time I'm going to stop my horse, but see, the little gape in the mouth, not bad. That's a little bit of him leaning onto the bit. That's a little bit of a habit he might have. And here now he softens, and that mouth movement is not gaping. That's licking. That's different. And so I just like to engage the bridle reins, but first I sit. Oh, watch right here. You got to watch your break. When you breakaway rope, that hard plastic Honda will come back and sometimes hit you. So I actually blocked it from hitting my horse. If it comes back towards me, I just usually put my head down because my hat should protect me, but I'll make sure that it was kind of headed towards his cheek, so I just blocked it real quick. So you got to always pay attention when you rope. And you got to pay attention even when you breakaway rope. Now, I'll make corrections like this. If my horse was going to duck in, instead of just holding him with the bridle reins or leaning on him, I just stop and back up. That's the correction. And then I'll move on like it didn't happen. A lot of times I see people just holding their horse, and then that gets you back on your pockets, and you can't rope well anyway. There's a heel shot. See all that movement in that rope didn't bother my horse. Just keep practicing that so he's not bothered by it. Coil up right away. See how little I have to engage these reins right there? And then now I'm aware when I'm coiling up, not to just pick up and always bump him. I see that a lot too. Now I'm just getting him to back away, and I'm going to turn to my right because I like to keep the cattle kind of out in front of me, even when I coil up, and that cattle's to my right. So I'm just going to push him out of this corner a little bit. So just get really aware of your left hand, especially. Like there. See, I just have to pick up, and then when he backs away, forward. And then when I want to go forward with my hand. I see a lot of people engage the bridle reins when they want to go forward. A lot of it, too, is maybe you're not used to riding with one hand. So even if you're an English rider, I think it's great to ride with one hand. Switch hands, left hand, sometimes the right hand. I rode a lot of English. I'm real comfortable with two hands and two hands with a young horse, but you have to learn to get comfortable with one hand, too, because maybe you're more strong with one hand than the other when you're two-handed, so this will help you not be so strong with one hand. Another heel shot. See how nice and easy? There, look how soft he backed there. So maybe a couple of times he leaned on me, or maybe I picked up too much and a little get a gape at the mouth. That's okay. We just work at it. If I'll get as soft as I can, horse. I'll try and meet me there. There, nice and soft, just working that calf around a little bit. Now that's the correction. I'll just say I want you to back up a little bit. That wasn't the best back at first. Now that's better. Now go forward. We might have to jump out there and go rope it. Just get aware of that left hand. And before you pick up, make sure your seat and your legs and everything else, your breathing, exhale when you stop. Sit back slightly on your pockets. Again, I'm just getting him to kind of back away there. And he said, should I go forward? And I said, oh, no. I'm just trying to put my rope away, so that does require two hands. And I'll say, now, this is parked until I ask you otherwise. We're parked here. So I don't have to hold him. See, a lot of people want to hold their horses to park them, and that puts a lot of pressure on them. And I'm showing that now. My left hand's on the rein, so it won't bump him, but I'm showing kind of what that looks like when she might pick up her reins a little abrupt. Now, I don't want to say too much on this video, but I have, hopefully, I'm working on a pretty useful tool that will have, I don't want to say much, that I'm working on getting ordered and out here just specifically for that, about picking up on your horse, that it should mean something. And when you are picking up too much, it'll have an alert for you. But it's all I really want to say for now. It might not even work out, but something I'm always working towards something that'll help people to better understand, especially when it comes to roping, because you're so focused on your right hand a lot of times that you forget about your horse. Now, in a video back a while ago, it was a young horse. I was talking about working on a horse switching eyes. I've worked with this on Copper for many years, and he's good about it. And this is one of many reasons why I want a horse good about switching eyes, is just for them to be parked out here, to be ground tied. There is nothing holding this horse right now. I just have the reins up where he can't step through them. And otherwise, he's just parked here while I do a little cleanup. But you'll see, it's amazing when I watch this video how much he was switching eyes left and right. And if a horse isn't good about this or feels stuck, when a horse stops and is stuck, look out. Doesn't mean they're quiet and standing fine. I want a horse to be able to kind of rotate through their axis on their pole there to see there. He's really looking to the right. I want him comfortable switching eyes. That's the reason he's standing here, is he's comfortable, because he's able to switch eyes, to kind of keep his eyes on me. There's cattle behind him, to keep an eye on that. He can see in front of him. That's a lot of the reason why they'll bolt, while they'll buck and just take off with you, is because they're not comfortable switching eyes behind. A lot of times stuff will scare them behind them, because that's where predators come from a lot of times, is behind. One of many reasons why I don't like a cross tie, especially tight cross ties where they're not able to just go left and right. But it took a lot of work with this horse to get him comfortable switching eyes behind him. He always wanted to kind of bolt forward or buck a little bit to get away from that. And now he's learned just to look left, right. And he's so comfortable that he'll just park there. He knows that's just my job right now. Before, my job was tracking and roping and backing up and all that. Now my job is just to stand here. And a lot of it's just my body language and how I'm responding with him too. There's a nice lick after I got on. Licks can be, it doesn't always mean good things in my book. Sometimes there's a big sigh. That was pretty expressive. That's probably for another video about the licking. I look for a nice quiet lick and during an exercise. Now I'm just showing too, don't be so dependent on your reins. Your reins aren't for balance. You should be able to steer your horse without reins. And if you do it in a smaller area like this or a round pen, don't worry about steering your horse with your reins. They're not going to walk through a wall if you're just nice and easy about it. If they get a little stuck, just ask them to keep going forward. And now I'm asking to see if he'll stop. He didn't quite stop, so then I'll engage the reins and say back up a little bit. This is a great exercise, not only for ropers, but for everybody, to ride without reins. A lot of times it's hard for people, and I'll tell them, hey, you got to cross your arms because you're reaching down towards your reins. You don't realize it. There's a nice little lick after an exercise, a relaxed one. Now forward with the hand to go forward. So just show, see, now it's easy. That left hand doesn't have to do much. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, maybe even subscribe. And thanks for watching.